Good afternoon, intuitives. Well, YouTube finally straightened out my monetization for the second time because apparently there was an issue and it was, you're a nobody. We don't want you making any money. But it's now straightened out and the videos are monetized. I don't control where the ad breaks are, although I had a little control over what types of ads. So I did not add any unskippable ads because they're annoying as hell. I don't deal with them. I have YouTube Premium, but I remember them being annoying as hell, so I didn't do that. And heads up, if you like my videos, and specifically if one in particular helped you in a lot of way, you can send a tip by hitting the thanks button and sending me a tip as if we were in a bar and you were buying me my next round for giving you good advice. 'Tis the season. But I'm not going to put anything like subscriptions or Patreons or any of that. But the ads are there, and if you want to send a tip, the thanks button is there. Please send them. But what I wanted to get to today is a topic that's often discussed by INFJs in our love life or lack thereof. Our love life, like so much else in our life, is an all or nothing kind of thing. Either we're, alone without a prospect or we're head over heels in love. There's really no in between for an INFJ. And I'm going to get into why that is. Why are we single, for long periods of time? Why? Well, for starters, again, INFJs, hopeless romantics with trust issues and sex drives through the roof. Yeah, not the average person, are we? There's no one night stand, there's no casual fling, casual dating, short-term dating. Either we find what we're looking for or we're like, man, I don't need anybody. And INFJs in general taste differ, but for the most part, especially when you reach a certain age, INFJs know what we're looking for. We know what we want, and we seek that out. And particularly in speaking of men, unlike most men, it has more to do than just looks. The quote unquote 10, who is a shadow with no substance and materialistic and can't hold a conversation with her. It's not that appealing. But the 7, who's, like a sweetheart little ENFJ, oh yeah, dream girl all the way. Now I'm speaking for myself, of course. But, whatever the INFJ's taste may be, yes, we must be physically attracted to that person, but somebody who is, you know, we find attractive and naturally cute and naturally pretty without makeup, which I love, is our type personality wise, interest, looking for the same thing and all that is far more appealing than the shallow model. And that's not a for instance, because though it was many years ago, I've been in that situation before I knew what any of this meant. And it really, really, really confused a lot of my male friends and female friends. Like, you could have hooked up with her. It's like, she can't talk to her for more than a couple of minutes. Well, she didn't want to talk. It's like, still, there just wasn't anything there. So, we take relationships and the idea of love very seriously. I've gotten into that in other videos. But it also ties in as to why we're alone a lot of the time, especially in today's culture with the hookup culture and things like that. We don't engage in that. So the potential dating pool for an INFJ is a lot smaller than it used to be. So someone who right off the bat who may even be our type, well, it's kind of a catch-22. Let's just say they're our type, and by social pressure and they want to be normal, they're reluctantly partaking in like the hookup culture just to fit in because they actually care about that, whereas we don't. That person then, since they're not considering anything serious, even though they are our type, is now out of the dating pool for us. And again, the dating pool for an INFJ gets small. It gets really small once you reach my age, because the older you get, the more people are married and people with baggage. And take it from me, if you find a girl who's exactly your type but she's 15 years younger, even if she pursues you, the people around her are still going to make you the bad guy even after they made you a hero for 2 years. Not that I've been in that situation or anything. But it's rough for us. Another thing is that we're introverts. That is a big part of it as well, especially for males. Why? Well, because we're still expected to make the first move, which is annoying. We're not good at it, and we don't like doing it. We overthink it and overthink it. If it's not blatantly obvious. We'll be like, oh, I don't know, maybe she's just being nice. I mean, it gets a little better with age, but not really. It does, but a little bit, because we don't like to make a fool out of ourselves. We're going to open up to somebody. We want to know that we're actually going to get a fair shot. Otherwise, we don't want to bother. And there's the other thing, the infamous fair shot, my cross, the thing I never get in any aspect of my life. But INFJs in general, if they find somebody that they're into and they don't feel like that person will give them a fair chance, like maybe they're the INFJ's type, but for lack of a better term, they don't run their own lives. They let like people around them, friends and all that, make all their decisions for them. Yeah, no, because we're big on that free will thing, all INFJs, especially ones that are also witches like me and the couple of others that exist. But, if somebody doesn't make their own decisions, then we're afraid to open up to that person because, they may want to get to know us, but they don't make their own decisions. And the fact that somebody else makes decisions as important as that in somebody's life, nope, out of there. No, you're just going to get hurt. Take it from me. You're just going to get hurt. It's like, well, you just said don't get involved in situations like that. Yeah, well, maybe I didn't know it at the time. Maybe the person told me that they, did whatever they wanted, but that wasn't the reality of the situation. I didn't know that till after she got me to open up. Yeah, so avoid that situation is another one to avoid. Being misunderstood, big thing. INFJs are slow to open up, as I mentioned, but oftentimes when we are in that awkward process of trying to open up and trying to steer that conversation from, small talk to a deep conversation to see if we want to open up, we can be awkward and misunderstood, and we try to be funny and it gets taken the wrong way, and then we got to try to fix it because like, oh, I like this person, crap, and now I said something stupid apparently, and I don't know what I said that was stupid because I know what I wanted to say in my head, but it didn't come out that way, so now I got to fix it. Thus, more overthinking. So there's another reason. But INFJs in general, the good news is for us, if you're looking for one, I've said this before, but I'm going to add it in anyway. In our case, if we want to be with somebody and they want to be with us, we don't care what anybody else thinks. That's, but that's also a bad thing because a lot of us are like, why doesn't everybody think like that? Why do people care what other people think? Like, why do people let other people make their decisions? It's like, that actually sickens me. Now I'm mad. Like, that is, anything that encroaches on free will tends to piss us off because encroachment of free will usually leads to exploitation, which really pisses us off. That'll bring the fury real fast. Trust, I'm going to mention again because, trust, hard to find, and the more it gets broken, the less inclined we are to trust anybody else. I recently did a video about it. You should watch it, because ad revenue and all, not because it's good. Yeah. So all these combined can make it difficult for an INFJ to find, someone they actually want a relationship with. The odds are stacked against us the older we get. And another one that isn't mentioned much in many articles is the quote-unquote dating pool. You could be living in a rural area where it's very homogenous, like sheeple, like where there isn't very many different cultures or belief systems. It could be all this, like, everybody's Protestant and families have all been there for 6 generations and they all go to the same church and they're all the same political party and they all have the same hobbies and they all think the same way. And if you don't fit in that homogenous group, you are screwed. Yeah, because there's nobody for you. And especially if, it's culture that's like, oh, everybody, life's just a continuation of high school. It's like, no. Yeah. So that can make it more difficult as well, where you're living and what the culture of that area is, and if you fit into it or not, because there's a reason I went on that rant. Because an INFJ is, for the most part, not going to change who they are to be with somebody. We know, we figure out who we are, but we we like to be authentic. So we're not going to pretend to be something we're not for somebody else. We expect people to do the same for us, but that doesn't always happen either. Yeah. It's another thing. INFJs have probably been burned by, they claim to be my type, and then as soon as I fell for them, they revealed their true face. It's like, yeah, they lied, and I fell for it. Now I feel stupid and heartbroken. I don't want to feel like that anymore, so let's not do this again. And the discouragement of things not working out gets to an INFJ to where they just like don't want to go out and try again. They don't want to relive that trauma, particularly if it's trust issues, because that gets harder every time. Yeah, you get burnt out. You get burnt out with dating. ENFJs get it too, for different reasons. But yeah, INFJs get burnt out and start to believe that whatever they're looking for either is so rare, like a blue rose, that they cannot find it, or that it doesn't exist. And it exists, so rare, and rarity, yes. Available, who knows? Who knows anymore? Especially if you're stuck in one particular spot. And the other thing I mentioned, because it's INFJs, again, I said it before, all or nothing, because if we don't find what we want, we're okay alone. Like, we're not the type of people that need to be with somebody. If we can't find what we're looking for, we're not the type of people that are just going to date someone they don't really want to be with just to be with somebody so they're not alone. No, like, we're just not going to do that. People don't understand that, but that's just who we are. So it's our own authenticity, our introversion, our trust issues, our history, our past, our overthinking, and where you're living all plays a factor into if we can find who the type of person we want. Are they available? Are they going to give us a fair chance? Are they being truthful to us? You add all that together, yeah, and you wonder why many INFJs, there's long time gaps in between relationships. It's not because the INFJ didn't want to date. It's probably like, yeah, I only meet someone my type who's available like once every 2 years. Yeah, it sounds about right. So that's how it plays out like that. I hope this enlightened those that are wondering, am I the only INFJ who's been single for over a year and a half, and the only person that I've met who I wanted to date played me like a fool a couple months ago? It's like, no, you're not. You're not, because I'm like that too, and I'm sure a lot of you on here are as well. So I hope this video was helpful for those of you seeking enlightenment on this topic. Remember, if this video or another video helped you immensely, please hit the thanks button and send me a tip, because you can't send me a beer, and with money I could buy a beer or pay my bills or do what I do. But please trust your intuition. If you think somebody is your type and is being truthful to you, I do recommend that you take a shot, because you don't know when your next one's going to come. Could be a while. So don't worry about what anybody else thinks, but make sure they don't worry about what anybody else thinks too. Very important detail. Don't sell out your integrity trying to pretend to be somebody you're not, to be with somebody who doesn't like you for who you really are, because that ain't going to last, and you don't have time for that, and it's going to mess you up.